Hey everybody, welcome back to Steve Reads a Comic. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Rob? It's an audio medium.
What's up, Rob? Good.
He's trying to toast us with his Diet Coke. It's like they can't hear that, Rob.
I wasn't trying to tell. I was just taking a drink while you were like, "Oh, you're gonna talk to me."
So, it looks like Rob's going to be the pixelated one this week. One of you guys is always pixelated.
Yeah, it's pixelated roulette.
That's weird because Steve is good this week. It's his pictures.
It's got to be one of us. Hey, at least we can hear Rob better this time, so that's good.
I got a mic, got headphones in.
Woo!
I'm not a bluish hue today.
Right, you're not in the Matrix anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you would have been in Zion. You'd been free. Steve's still in the Matrix.
I will forever be in the Matrix, never leaving.
Oh, there you go. You're pixelated now.
I saw a trailer. Actually, I saw that there's a new. I think it's just like a TV trailer for the Matrix, but I didn't watch it. I don't want to watch it. I'm just gonna wait. Watch the movie.
I watched it. I was too curious. I couldn't help myself. It doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Rob?
What, the new trailer?
The new little teaser trailer.
No, I didn't know they had one. I watched the other one, though, the other day, and I was like, ooh, it's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah. I was watching John Wick today because I was trying to watch a Punisher movie, but then I put one in and I got like 5 minutes in and I turned it off and put in John Wick instead.
That's what you wanted the Punisher to be?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
It's a much better Punisher movie than they've actually made so far, or TV series even. I know people really like the TV show, but it's still not nearly as good as it should be in the comics.
I need to give that one another shot. I haven't watched the TV show one in a minute.
So it's really long. The season 2 is good, but they spend so much time with the villains, and like I don't care about fucking Jigsaw's psychiatrist's motivations. Like I don't care. It's just no. I'm here to see him kill people. That's it. That's what John Wick does. John Wick gets right to it. Simple motivation, right to the killing.
I feel like they think they have to set up the characters for the audience.
No, unnecessary.
You must be loving Hawkeye then right now.
Oh, let's talk about Hawkeye. So is everybody caught up? Everybody see yesterday's episode?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So three episodes are out. We covered what this storyline is loosely based on, the comic book storyline that this show is lifting stuff from. But they left the heart intact. They did not take the heart from the comics. They just lifted elements like writers are wont to do when it comes to comic books. They're just like, ooh, I like that, and I'll take this. And I don't care about the actual story. I just like the tracksuit Draculas, and I'll take the dog. And, they've done a horrible job. I am so disappointed. This episode was actually better because we actually got to see Hawkeye in action. Like the real Hawkeye. We got to see Clint in action, which was good. That was fun. And I pulled a Rob. I pulled a Rob. I looked up the villain. I did not know who she was.
Oh, I still haven't looked her up.
I did. I looked her up.
I didn't know she was a villain. Oh, you talking about Echo or whatever her name is?
Yeah.
So, and I heard, dude, I can't imagine this is a spoiler if you've watched it, but as soon as I saw that hand
I knew
come into frame and I heard the voice, I was like, oh, that's fucking King. And that's when I looked her up. I was like, that sounds like Kingpin. Is she related to Kingpin?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh, no, we're not.
Yeah. I think eventually we will.
You could tell it wasn't even I think it was just a chuckle he did, and it was like, I was like, oh, that's so Kingpin.
He says like 2 words and it's like, oh, that's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. But I didn't know that until I looked up Echo was tied to Daredevil and Kingpin. So I knew that going into this last episode. So I don't know if I would have got that or not.
See, I'm not familiar with her character. So, but like I said, as soon as I heard that voice, I was like, is that Kingpin? So that's when I looked her up. And she is in the comics. She's a deaf Native American. And then I looked up the actress who is also a deaf Native American and also an amputee in real life.
Oh, so that's really, oh, wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So,
so
does Disney's really scoring on the diversity front here. Like, you're not going to do much better than that.
Is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about this Hawkeye series. It doesn't flow or something. The 3 episodes, like, and like the dog, they haven't even named the dog, and
she named it Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog, the last one.
Pizza Dog, yeah, but isn't his name Lucky?
Lucky the Pizza Dog
in the comics, yeah. And he's not lucky because he didn't, they didn't really show him all the stuff that happened to him. Why they named him Lucky? I understand why they named him Pizza Dog, but even this episode, it just the thing with his hearing, like him going deaf, it messed with the awesome car scene, with them pulling arrows. It wasn't fluid, like the comic. The comic was fluid when they were showing the chase scene in the comic and her pulling out the arrows, and it was better in the comic. And I mean, it was great live action. It looked really good. They did a good job, but the interaction between him and her was not as good as it was in the comic. Because I don't even think that's deaf thing going on with him.
I don't even think that's it. I think it's just the writing period. They don't have.
Maybe
they made her super. Dude, when they had those scenes where he couldn't hear, I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus!" Like she finally is shutting.
Oh,
the fuck
stop
up
talking.
Yeah. Like I was so grateful because I'm like they've made her so annoying. Steve, I saw that you got your putty arrow.
Yeah, I did. I got my putty arrow. I was like, "Is that putty?" I wasn't expecting purple putty. I did get my putty arrow. Like you guys are saying though, it is better in the comic, but I'm not having as a difficult time as you guys are with this series. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. And I don't think I think them two together, I think they're fine. I don't think she's that annoying at all.
I like her as an actress.
I like them both together, and I like it when he was deaf. She's like, we're communicating. I thought that was funny.
Something just doesn't. I don't know. It's just I'm not enjoying it like I should. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I think I can identify the reason though, and I think the main reason is this is literally just a setup to introduce her as the new Hawkeye, and it's very clear. Mm-hmm. Nobody's in any real danger. And then you have this villain who I think we're going to find out she's not a villain. Like, I'm tired of the sympathetic villain thing. Like, I like understandable villains. I like believable villains. I don't need to sympathize with the villain's motivations. They did it in Winter Soldier too. And I'm like, no, I don't want to care about. No, they're there to die. They're there to be the bad guy, be the villain. Could you imagine like a sympathetic James Bond villain? You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh, I really like this guy. James Bond's such a dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I want a villain. It's a movie. It's not real. And what else I watched the other day? Oh, I put on First Avenger the other day, which is like the Captain America movies are just the best Marvel movies, in my opinion. Put on First Avenger. Captain America is killing people. Iron Man was killing people in the first movie. There's no more of that. When I watch Shang-Chi, and those people show up with their color-coded weapons, it's like a cartoon now. I don't sense any danger in these shows anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Hawkeye was in Avengers. He used a gun. He won't even pick up a gun now. Like it's just, they're getting cartoony and formulaic. And I really think the MCU has peaked. We're not going to see that anymore. They cherry pick who's going to die. They need the motivational deaths, that guy's uncle or whoever and stuff like that. But the heroes don't kill anybody anymore. Everything is just, it's like watching G.I. Joe, the cartoon now.
Well, Nemo was a sympathetic villain.
Nemo. Oh, Baron Nemo?
Yeah.
No, he was an understandable villain. You still didn't like the guy. You weren't rooting for him.
Oh, I'm not rooting for any of these other ones. You guys are rooting for those other villains?
But they make it, it's like, okay, so they're setting it up to look like Ronan killed her family or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see her, you're sympathetic towards her because she's deaf. She had a tough life. Her dad got killed by this Ronin guy. Like, that's all set up to create sympathy. And no, I rarely have sympathy for people in movies. I barely have sympathy for the heroes.
It's set up for Clint to deal with his own guilt too, because he's obviously struggling with that for the time that he was Ronin.
He's feeling more guilt about Black Widow than anything, is what that is.
Yeah, but everyone he killed. I mean, some of them.
I don't think he really cares about that. I think it's all about Black Widow is what's messing with him.
He's killed a lot of people. He killed a lot of people before he became Ronin.
Yeah.
So, like Sean
well,
was
that's
saying.
why he's saying he's not a good guy, and that's why she's trying to say that, you know, you're inspiring and all that stuff, because he is struggling with, you know, what he's done in the past.
Well, I just don't even care about any of that. Like, it's not landing with me, is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. The comics were so much better. Maybe if I hadn't read the comics, I'd be a little bit more on board.
Man,
but again,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just such clearly a springboard for her to join the Avengers. That's all this is playing like to me. Like, I don't feel like he's not going to make it home for Christmas. It seems to be the biggest dilemma right now.
Yeah.
Will he make it home for Christmas? I don't fucking care.
Yeah, like, this is so a Christmas movie, but the whole time, man, like I love the comic and I agree it's much better, but at the same time, I'm enjoying seeing this stuff that I love from the comic. The Tracksuit Mafia is fucking great. I fucking love them. It's everything I envisioned in my head while I was reading. You know, Clint, he's not a chaotic bachelor. You know, he's a family guy. So, like, he's not, you know, that's not in there, and I'm okay with that.
That's not my issue. My issue, again, with the dog, like that was a pivotal point for Clint's character in the comic. His attachment to that dog, and they stripped that away from him. Now, maybe it'll come up later. Maybe it could still happen. Something
they already showed him. They already showed Lucky coming up to him and saying, you know, taking to him real quick.
That's not the point.
And he's like, "Oh, good dog." So you can tell they're going to get along.
No, it's not about them getting along. It's about him taking the injured dog to the vet and being like, "Save this dog. You will save this dog."
But as you said earlier, this show isn't about Hawkeye. It's about setting up the other Hawkeye.
Why would it be about Hawkeye?
It's about setting the other Hawkeye up. Because nobody fucking knows.
And that's my problem, Steve,
it
shouldn't be about that. It should be about him. He can pass the torch still.
I agree.
But we don't need all this backstory for Kate Bishop.
Yeah, but they're obviously introducing Kate Bishop, and I mean, if I wouldn't have read the comic, I wouldn't have known who the fuck she was either. So, I mean,
it doesn't matter though. That's my whole point. She's incidental. Like, it doesn't. We don't need all this. We don't need the rich girl backstory. Who cares?
But you already know Clint's backstory through the MCU.
No, we don't. We fucking don't. We still haven't got to see what happened in Budapest. Sorry.
Budapest.
There's so much, and instead he's not getting his due in this series. Basically, he is not getting his due. You know, Black Widow got a whole movie. It was, now granted, they did use that as a springboard for her sister, but Black Widow was actually a focal point in the movie as well. And we got to actually.
I see both. I see them explaining him, and I see them, you know, explaining her. I see both of them equally.
I need Rob to move towards the mic, and I need Steve to move the fuck away from the mic. This is Steve talking to me right now.
So I would talk, but you guys didn't give me a chance. I forgot what my point was because Steve just kept going on. Yeah, I understand what Steve's saying. It's a different. You have a different backstory for Hawkeye than you do in the comic, so it's got to be different. That's what I was. I think I mentioned it to Sean earlier this week. We didn't talk about it, but I noted. You know, it's hard to adapt. I think, like Sean said, there's key elements that you could have took from the comic.
Yeah,
that would have been so much better. You know, even him having a different backstory, or, you know, being married, having kids, and all that. It just, something seems off. I don't know what it is. I'm not enjoying it like I should.
It's the focus on Kate Bishop. I'm telling you, it's not. It's all about her, and it's hard to care about her. And you have this character that we've been all waiting for him to have his day, and they're barely giving him his due in this whole thing. Now, I thought the car scene was great. I mean, there's great action scenes. You know, I'm not saying it's bad, but again, it's another case of just like they did with the Punisher, where they cherry pick these elements, and some of them are cool, but they're missing like the heart and the guts of the actual story and what made it good. You know, the Tracksuit Mafia is an element, but they don't make the Hawkeye story good. They're just a comedic element.
My biggest disappointment was Kazi. Man, Kazi was way more of a badass in the comic than he is in this. He just seems like a sidekick in this one.
Yeah, he's a yes man, basically.
That was disappointing. But there's 3 episodes left, so I don't know what's going to happen. There was kind of like a love interest with Kazi and Kate, too, in the comics. So I don't think that's going to happen in this series.
Well, she's too young.
22.
I don't know. I guess she seems a lot younger than that. She acts a lot younger than that.
I'm sad that this is the way Vera Farmiga makes her way to the MCU, because I think she's a great actor. I've liked her in every role. I think the first thing I saw her in was The Departed, and she brings a level. Yeah, she brings like a real believable humanity to everything, and it would be cooler if I don't know what that role could be, but she's just relegated to rich mom.
Well, yeah, I think she's got more in store.
This episode was better, I thought, but
yeah,
there's only 6, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot. I mean, man.
Did you hear him introduce grills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is he gonna fucking, have the same? Should I spoil it? I don't. I'll just let it go. But you guys saw grills. You heard them.
Yeah. Yes,
Rob.
Yeah, I'm just overall just disappointed. For the most part, I don't hate it though. I know it sounds like I hate it. I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen or anything.
This is every time we review something, you're like, Sean's like, it sounds like I hate it, but
well, I can't help but nitpick the obvious stuff. It's just weird to me how they overlook to me what stands out, and I don't understand how they just constantly overlook this stuff. Again, been on a Punisher kick recently, reading a lot of Punisher stuff, and I'm just like, man, this is so good. Why haven't they been able to capture this in any of the fucking film media that they've done with this character? They cannot capture the essence of the Punisher as written by Garth Ennis. And I don't understand why, because it jumps off the page to me. It's so obvious the elements you need is because Punisher stories are almost like horror stories, and the Punisher is Michael Myers. You get all these great villains that are just cocky assholes. They're selfish. They don't give a shit. And then you got the Punisher sneaking up and just slaughtering them, right? Like that's the essence of it right there. We don't need a sympathetic villain. We don't need the story of Jigsaw and how sad he is and his psychiatrist. No, he's just there to fucking take bullets and be killed in a gory manner. That's it. It's Punisher is a Jason movie. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah.
And they just won't fucking. That's what I love about. I'm watching John Wick, and there's so little dialogue in that movie, and it makes sense. John Wick doesn't need to come in and monologue and all this stuff. Most of the dialogue you hear is the villains, and that's what you want. You want to hear these guys freaking out about how scary John Wick is, and you're just like, oh boy, you're gonna fuck him up. You're gonna get a pencil. You know what I mean? Like that's what you need for a Punisher movie. And they won't fucking do. That's all Garth Ennis has been doing. I mean, he wrote the Punisher for like at least 10 years at least, and that's the thing in the comics is like he doesn't have much to say. He kind of narrates what's going on more than anything, and then he just shows up and fucking kills people when they're least expected. And then sometimes shit goes wrong, and he ends up being the one getting chased or whatever. But they just won't do that. Like we don't need to see every little thing that the Punisher is doing. We could just see what the bad guys are doing. Like that scene in John Wick when he shows up at the nightclub and he's just killing people all stealthily, and then it escalates because some guy gets in an altercation, they fall through a thing, and then everybody's after him, and then it's a whole gunfight, kung fu fight. That's it. That's all you need. That's it. That's it.
I like other stuff too. I like the scene with him and her, and he can't hear, and she's writing it for him, and he wants to be with his family. Like that's tear jerking to me, man. I like that stuff too. But I never took this whole.
I would play better if I could get invested in what's going on, but because Clint is about 30% of the show, it's hard to care about his plight because he's not the focal point.
Yeah.
So if he was more the focal point, I would.
It's MCU Phase 4. Like I don't think they're moving forward with Clint much more. Like I think this is just him getting out.
Exactly. And that's my point, and that's why this should be focused on him. She should be in the background for this. She can have her own movie, series, Avengers premiere, whatever. If this is Jeremy Renner's last thing, let it be about Jeremy Renner then.
Yeah,
is what
it's
I'm
about
saying.
him getting home to his fucking family for Christmas, man. Have you not been paying attention? That's his swan song.
Do you really think that went over my head? Do you really think I didn't notice? He's trying to go, and that's all we've been looking for in a Hawkeye story. Is like, man, I hope that guy gets home for Christmas. That's all I want to know about. I don't want to know about Budapest.
This whole thing, it just sounds like it just plays like a Hallmark movie, you know, like that.
Yeah.
That's the Hawkeye that that we're watching.
Well, like Sean said, they spent 10% of his screen time of him. What is he going to be home for Christmas? We get it. Do something else with his screen time.
He was just shooting fucking arrows. He shot a Hank Pym arrow and rained a giant arrow down from the sky, man. What more do you fucking want?
That was only 20%.
The putty arrow, bro.
It would have been.
God, you guys are overcritical.
No, it was. I enjoyed this episode. I'm not. It just something doesn't. It just not. It just seems. I don't know. Something's off with this. I liked. I thought. What's it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought each episode kind of, had its.
It built up.
Place.
Each one built up to something. And yeah. And they had good conversation. And that is a very good comparison because I really liked that series. And, obviously they're setting up the Falcon to become Captain America and stuff.
Right.
But that series was great in comparison. Again, my only complaint about that one is like trying to come up with the sympathetic villain. Like just cut that shit out.
I liked it in the beginning when he's trying to watch that musical. He's like, "Please get me out of here!"
Right?
And then
I felt watching it.
And then he comes out, and from the comic, we see how beat up he is all the time. He's always got bandages and everything, and he just goes to like kneel down, and it takes everything out of him just to squat. Like he's so old and in so much pain, dude. I was like, this is great.
This is what I find annoying. So she comes to save him when he's actually going to save her and clear her name so they don't think she's Ronin. She shows up at the end of episode 2 and they're both captured. And, he is a world-weary superhero. He has seen it all. He's done everything from, assassinations to fighting Thanos, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's 22, has gone to college and took some karate classes, and she's the cocky, arrogant one in the conversation with the villains. And that I hate that. Like, you haven't earned that. You're not going to be, if you're 22 years old and you've grown up a rich, spoiled brat, you're not just going to be like, hey, what's up, motherfuckers?
That's why they were trying to put in all that shit, all those scenes with trophies, her climbing a mountain, her mom talking to her, telling her she's spoiled and rich. That's why they're trying to fucking, tell you that.
I'm not sure why you're defensive on this, but this is
because I enjoyed the show. I'm angry that you guys
enjoy the show.
I'm angry that you both.
My brain doesn't shut off like yours does. Like I can't watch a Fast and Furious movie. You've watched all of them multiple times. There's just a difference there. I can't enjoy a movie on that level. Again, when you have great source material to pull from, and also when you have this Clinton Barton character who's barely had any screen time, and instead you just focus it all on the new person, and then you make her as annoying as possible. Like she should not be cocky and arrogant. This is her first encounter with villains like this. It doesn't make any sense. It's not true to the character. It's not organic. It's them trying to do the Marvel formula. Oh, we got to have the witty, snappy character. No, let her earn that over time. Black Widow earned that. We knew she had a history. All we've seen this chick do is hit a goddamn bell with an arrow.
What kind of rich, spoiled brat isn't cocky?
You mean to tell me that in a life or death situation, you have all these dudes with guns, you're tied up, you're just going to sit there and be like, hey, what's up, man? I think you should do this. Maybe you should, no, that's not, it's not organic. It plays like a cartoon.
She's with her hero, man. She's like, this is it. This is what I was meant for. She said, I finally know my purpose. She said that. So yeah, she's going out there shooting arrows.
That still doesn't make sense for somebody.
She's with Hawkeye.
You don't develop a hardened character like that from just being a 22-year-old kid in college. Like that's my point. You don't just come into every situation, a life or death situation, and you're just chatting it up. Like that's not believable. It's just not. It's like I said. It's formulaic. It's cartoonish. It's ridiculous.
She wasn't like that. She made a choice. She made a choice to fight and help people, and basement instead of running.
Are you just going to defend every
because I
decision
don't
the writers have made?
I'm very angry at you both. I think you should be enjoying this way more. I'm very angry at you both. I think
I haven't dismantled
it. We need to stop this podcast. You guys need to go rewatch it and then come back when you're happier.
You know,
Steve, you be you. You like the show. You go for it. I haven't agreed with Sean in a long time. This is the first time me and him have been on.
No, I'm just fucking. I'm just fucking with you guys. I do enjoy it though.
I think maybe I do have higher expectations for Marvel movies. I think than I do.
Again, revisiting movies. Iron Man, Captain America, you felt like there were people in danger. I don't feel like anybody's in any real danger in this. It just plays like a G.I. Joe cartoon. It's not the same thing. And again, don't get me wrong. I know, when you watch a Marvel movie, Captain America's not going to die or Iron Man's not going to die. That's not what I mean. But you don't feel like the villains are dangerous in this. They're not actually trying to kill anybody. But you get that sense, like when you see Hydra, they're fucking killing people. And then when Cap helps the American soldiers escape, they start killing people.
They
don't do that anymore.
They're getting the sympathetic heroes out of the way for Kingpin.
Maybe, but if he's only in it,
we're like, we got to get somebody in here before Kingpin just starts strangling people.
But if he's only in it for 2 minutes, what's?
Oh, the point? I'm sure it'll be the very end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, well, what's the point? Why didn't you just do that from the beginning?
They got to be the big reveal that everybody sees coming.
It's like a M. Night Shyamalan movie at this point.
But Steve, there's that whole thing on the internet where they're like that old meme where it's like, shh, let people enjoy things. To that I say, shh, let people fucking hate things, because some things deserve hate, some things deserve ridicule, and the only way things are going to get better is if they're critiqued. And if you just love on every piece of shit that comes out, you're going to get more pieces of shit.
I can see if you're talking about Wonder Woman, I'm with you. But this show is not that bad.
Marvel has set a standard, like Rob said. They have set a standard, and they've reached the point. They're at the Kathleen Kennedy phase where they're just like, oh, this shit just prints money. We just follow the formula. We got to have the witty. We got to have the sharp tongue witty hero, sympathetic villain, profit. That's it. They're just doing a formula now. They're not even. There's no effort to this. There's no effort to this. And again, they're just
Putty Arrow, bro. What do you mean no effort? Putty Arrow.
If that's what you're falling back
the card
on. This
was
conversation
in it.
Is
Tracksuit
over.
Mafia. I saw a bunch of stuff from the comics I really enjoyed. And I understand at the same time, this is the MCU. It's not the comics.
See, here's what made the Hawkeye story. A lot of it was they made it much more down to earth and sympathetic, is he was trying to save just average Joes living in this building. That's an element that is completely missing from this.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of it. If we had that element that we could tether ourselves to as an audience and be like what he's defended some rich kid that I don't give a fuck about. Who cares? I don't care about her. We know she's going to be okay because she's a new Hawkeye. So it's pointless. It's the fucking snake eating itself. Like we know she's fine, but if he was actually defending people that, again, like in that apartment building in the comics where, he's doing something that's completely selfless, because
what are you talking about? He's helping this girl out. He doesn't have to help her.
He doesn't need to. I don't think he knows that she's been contracted to do a bunch of movies already. She'll be fine. We know she's going to be fine. There's no drama here.
Hawkeye is helping this girl out. He doesn't have to. He could go with his family. That is selfless. My point is,
she'll be fine because she's the new Hawkeye. So we know she's fine. There's no drama.
Plus, she's rich.
But Hawkeye doesn't know that.
In the comic, number one, he helped the dog. He took it to the vet. I mean, there was that compassion for humanity and for people in need. And then
they went back in the comic, like to build on what Rob's saying. They went back and they showed how, like, he initially didn't care about the dog. And then he was just like, you're going to save this fucking dog. You will save this fucking dog. You know what I mean?
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And this is so different. This is literally, they should just have a theme song straight out of 1987 for this. It's like, dun, 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 at the beginning of every episode. We know all this is fine. We know how all this plays out.
Maybe it's because I'm a cat person. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying this one more. Because, like, I don't think him saving a dog is pivotal to Hawkeye's MCU storyline. Like,
okay, well, that's you're a very superficial person, so you must not have noticed that in the comic. But that was a very
I
pivotal
did notice
moment
that
in
in
the
the comic. That was, but now they're using it for her, and we already know he's
No,
a
but she didn't even
sympathetic guy.
she just picked him up. There was no dramatic, like it's again John Wick. You see how detached John Wick is, and then they kill that fucking dog, and it just fucking lights a fire under him, and that's what happened with Hawkeye, and we don't have that moment here for this.
But we know Hawkeye is selfless. We've seen him save Wanda. He went back and saved Wanda from Vision. He's helping Kate. He fucking did. He was going to kill himself for fucking Scarlett Johansson. What's her name? Black Widow. Like, we know the guy's selfless. He's a great dude. He's just trying to get home to his family for Christmas.
Writing
Can I just not? Can I have a happy Christmas show? Can I just have that? Can I have that?
Yeah, there's tons of them.
I'll be watching this right next after Die Hard every Christmas. I can see it coming every Christmas. Die Hard.
No, you won't. You will not be watching because I guarantee it's 6 months. You'll be like, yeah, that show's fucking boring. I guarantee it.
They'll be like, that's fucking ruining that shit.
How many times have you rewatched WandaVision?
I've watched WandaVision 3 times.
Are you shitting me?
Except the first 2 episodes. I skipped past those, but I have watched it 3 times. WandaVision's my favorite. I've told you that. I watched that more than anything.
There is no help. I do not understand your taste at all.
I enjoyed WandaVision. I didn't think it was horrible.
Yeah, but it's not your favorite.
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. I thought you guys would be more on board with this one. I am a little disappointed.
I was on board before I saw it. The trailer looked great. They had all the elements there, but then as it's been revealed to us, we're supposed to think that her character's under in any kind of danger. We know that's not the case.
I'll tell you what I'm sorry. The problem for me, I think, to do with why I didn't enjoy it as much as Steve, is because I'm reading the goddamn comic. I'm going to stop reading comics. Screw comics.
It's a big part. No, that's a big part of it.
Ruining movies for me.
Yeah, I was telling Sean that on one of the podcasts. I was like, I'm fucking done with comics. This is bullshit. Yeah. And I don't want to sound like that guy. It's like, wow, the book was so much better. But like in this instance, man, it is. That fucking comic was great, man.
That was a good comic.
Yeah.
And we've seen the MCU do better. We've seen when they've cherry-picked elements. Like you look at the Winter Soldier movie, you look at Civil War. They actually elevated that material. They didn't pick they understood the motivations and why those stories are important to Marvel readers, and they lifted the right elements. They didn't pick the wrong stuff. They're picking the wrong stuff with this.
Yeah.
They're picking not picking the wrong stuff. They're picking some good stuff, but they're not picking all the good stuff. They don't understand. And that's what's frustrating to me. Because again, we've seen MCU do so much better with this kind of stuff. Even, the Extremis storyline to like a Civil War, Winter Soldier. What other storylines have they picked from? I can't think of one off. Oh, the Infinity Gauntlet, for God's sakes. They took the Infinity Gauntlet and made it better.
I was going to say, that's the one comic I read, Infinity Gauntlet, and I was like, wow, this was way better in the MCU.
Yeah, and they've done better. And now we're seeing them, they're falling back on their lazy ways where they pick stuff. They're like, good enough.
Nah, they're all right. They need new characters for the next big fucking battle. So they gotta introduce some people.
That's fine. They're always going to be there. She's going to be there.
Sean brought up a good point. I think the villains, they really got to have a good villain. I mean, not since Red Skull. Civil War's a little different. Winter Soldier. I mean, you still had a villain. I'm trying to think of the good movies.
Iron Man, obviously.
Huh? You didn't like Ant-Man and the Wasp villain?
I don't even remember Ant-Man and the Wasp villain.
Ghost. But she ended up being good in the end.
Oh, I was talking about the other guy.
So here's a good example of making a villain.
It's just make a villain that's bad. And he's bad because he's bad. Like Thanos. That's why Infinity War and Endgame. The guy's bad. Let's get rid of him.
I don't know if he's bad. He's just at a different point of view.
Or if you're going to do understandable villains, Michael Keaton as the Vulture was great. Like he got shit on by Tony Stark, basically, and he took it personally. And you understood his motivations. At the same time, you didn't you didn't feel bad for him,
I didn't
but you
sympathize
understood
with him, but I understood why he did what he did.
And I liked that. Like, he's just a guy trying to make it, and he went a little too far overboard, basically. They've done better villains, and like I said, I don't think Echo is even going to be the real villain.
No, she's not.
And I don't know. And I could be. I'm just speculating at this point, but
well,
it just
to me,
it hasn't
grabbed the mother. I don't know what's going on with the mother and the dad. They showed her dad in the beginning, and then they just, I don't know what's going on.
And I think they're setting it up that he was the one who maybe killed what's her name's dad, the Echo's dad, because he has that sword, and because he's a good fencer, he's good with a sword.
Yeah.
So he has Ronin's sword. I don't know if that's where they're going.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm trying to avoid reading anything.
Well, I haven't read anything. This is just my speculation.
The mother, though,
watching the show.
I don't understand what the mother's character is. I don't know why they had to. I guess, like, her dad disappeared. We never saw him dying. I don't know.
Remember when they were putting him in the van? He's like, I can see through the mask.
I think one of the things that actually made me laugh in the very first episode is when he goes to the toilet and someone had Thanos was right.
Yeah,
because that was like that was an internet meme for a long time. So to see it in the MCU was really funny.
I didn't know it was a meme.
Yeah.
You didn't like the musical, man? Come on!
Oh my god, that is exactly what I think all musicals are, and that's why I hate them.
That is what musicals are. That's exactly what musicals are. So you haven't listened to that? You haven't listened to that on repeat then, since you guys? No. It's too bad.
Is that actually available?
Yeah. It's
oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
do this all day.
All right, did you guys watch the He-Man, part 2 of the new He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations?
I didn't even know until yesterday that it came out. What happened to the advertisement for that one?
I finished it today.
So
that's right. You guys are unemployed right now.
So I guess we'll get to that next week. I do want to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. You guys clearly don't have any interest in it, so I don't feel bad spoiling it.
Wait, no, I want to see this.
Hey, can you guys?
It's only been out for a week. It's been out for a week.
Yeah, you would have seen it if you wanted to see it.
Do not spoil that.
Why? You don't care. There's nothing to spoil.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Actually, well, now I want to wait. Are you guys actually going to go see it, or is it going to be 6 months from now, and you're going to be all right? Now we can talk about it.
Yeah, I want to see it. I do want to.
Are you going to go to the theater and see it, or not? Yes or no?
Probably.
Okay, so no. All right, exactly. All right, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, man. So I was put off by the trailers, and I was right to be put off because this is just a pure nostalgia fest with just reference after reference after reference, and it's too much, and it tries to be sentimental, and that is something Ghostbusters 1 and 2 do not have, is sentimentality. And that's part of the reason Ghostbusters 1 is like my all-time favorite movie, is it's funny. It is a workplace comedy with supernatural elements. That's all it is. There's no room for this sappy E.T. Steven Spielberg shit that they do throughout this whole movie. And it's boring. It's fucking boring. It's just these kids discovering Egon's old stuff.
All right, don't spoil it for me.
There's nothing to spoil. There's nothing to spoil. This is not ruin the movie because
Rob doesn't want to see it.
Anyway,
I do want to.
And then it just builds up. The whole third act
want to see it.
Is literally a remake of Ghostbusters 1, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? They have the stupidest things. Like, they find a Nestle Crunch wrapper in Egon's old suit. Now, if you're like me, you've seen the movie a million times, you know that that's a reference. And you see the Nestle Crunch thing referenced twice, because in the first movie, Bill Murray hands him a Nestle Crunch. He's like, you've earned it. And like, that's little shit like that. Symmetrical book stacking. All this stuff that you see, and I'm just like, stop it. That because in Ghostbusters 2, they didn't do that. Like, make a fucking sequel. Don't just be, it's member berries. Hey, remember that? Remember this? Hey, remember that? Like, stop it. Fucking stop it. It's infuriating. And the whole thing just literally plays like, because it's by Jason Reitman, and he knew Harold Ramis. He grew up on those movie sets with his dad. He clearly misses Harold Ramis dearly. And this is an apology for never making Ghostbusters 3 with Harold Ramis. And that's all it is. And I'm not, and again, it's not a bad movie. It's not Ghostbusters 2016. That there's very few elements of humor. And then again, the references like they show in the trailer, like the little mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Do you remember why there was a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the first movie?
Yeah, because he thought it into existence.
Yes. You know why there's Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in this movie?
Because the first Ghostbusters movie had it.
Exactly. That's the only reason. It makes no sense. They just show up. It has nothing to do with anything other than, hey, remember these guys? Remember this? Like, aren't they cute? They're small now. And it's so infuriating because it's fucking lazy. And
nobody steps on a church in my town.
Like, there's no good lines like that. And then it's so disappointing. It's just disappointing. Like, it's not what Ghostbusters is. It's not a 1980s Amblin Entertainment Steven Spielberg movie. That's never what it was.
Sounds like Sean's it's been a week of disappointment for him.
Right?
Oh, dude, you're lucky we're not talking about He-Man.
I was going to say, did you enjoy He-Man?
Like, oh my God.
You're batting zero, man.
I didn't even like He-Man. I enjoyed the first half way better.
Was it all about Taylor again, the second half?
Oh, yeah.
It's about Tila and Evil Lynn for the most part.
Right.
A little bit of He-Man. A little bit of the guy that the whole franchise was built on. Great thinking there, guys.
And it was all about, oh my God, there were so many times where they were, just trying to work some kind of lesson in there. And it was just like.
And I just didn't care about any, I barely even remember it. I think I went into some sort of trance when I was watching it because I was so angry at Kevin Smith.
One of the whole, I like Buffy, and the whole show is about, how she's so much better because she has friends and everything. And she's so much stronger because of her friends, and that's what this was trying to say. But it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, her voice. I was like, am I watching Buffy again? What is this?
And a reminder, Buffy wasn't even good. We won't get into that.
How dare you?
Buffy was not good. I tried to watch it so many times.
Buffy was the best.
That was literally fucking Scooby-Doo live action is all that was.
I like it.
Well, you've been blocked. You're done.
I don't, you know what? I'm not going to hold thing or pretend that there's these sacred things, sacrosanct shows.
Dude, the episodes were great.
IPs.
Now, as far as fight scenes, not so good. But the episodes, they had a lot of heart, a lot of good episodes.
I will say that Xander is one of the worst characters ever committed to film. I hate that guy. Super annoying.
You've said it multiple times.
I fucking hate that dude so much.
Yeah, he's annoying. I
so
like the show. I like the show.
You even have to admit that. Dude, but honestly, a lot of it does go back to my hatred of vampires in general, though. Yeah. So I think vampires are.
Wait a minute.
How many seasons of Buffy were there? And his acting did not get any better. Like by the end,
I don't think anybody's acting got any better. Wait a minute. I want to go back to this hatred of vampires. Where'd this come from?
Oh, you didn't know about that? It's something. It's actually a realization I've had in the past year or so, where I think they're a stupid villain. Like they're so weak. They're so easily killed that they can't even go out in the daytime. I think that's why I like what we do in the shadows, because that to me that's real vampires. That's how it would actually.
I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Damn, 3 years I've been trying to get you guys to watch this.
I saw Colin Robinson. It's fucking great.
Isn't he great?
They were at some town meeting, and everybody's just like, he's one of the vampires is controlling this member of the committee. And he just starts attacking everybody. And Colin Robinson's just sitting in a chair, and he's like,
he's just doing this.
Yeah, his eyes are like blue, like with happiness. Like it's
well, he's
so
feeding.
Fun.
He's actively feeding, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't stand up right now." They're like, "Gross."
Yeah, definitely. That's a great show. I'm going to finish that.
That's a good show. That's how you do good writing. That's my point.
So you like those vampires, right?
Yes, because that's what I think. That's how vampires would be. They're just like. They'd be chill, it'd be a lot more casual, and they're not scary. And to me, vampires aren't scary. These vampires aren't scary.
Fuck. They're stupid. They're just dumb.
In the show,
what did Rob say?
Nothing. It doesn't matter.
He said they're dumb.
Steve wants to talk.
He said they're dumb. They're great. I was gonna say in the show, in What We Do in the Shadows, where they go to get virgins is the LARPers, the LARPers, and then I forgot about in Hawkeye they had that LARPing scene. Did you find that funny when he's walking slowly through? And it's slow motion. And he's like,
no.
Oh, really?
No.
I enjoyed that. I
thought that was so pointless.
Oh, I thought it was great. He's like, I've fought Thanos.
I thought that whole scene was a very failed attempt at humor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff isn't landing there for me.
Well, I didn't laugh out loud, but I chuckled,
And again, I love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I think he's great. But yeah, all that was just filler, unnecessary. What else did I want to talk about? I don't even remember now.
Are you even going to finish Hawkeye, or you just give up?
Oh, no. And that's the thing. Like, again, I know I'm shitting on it, but I'm still watching it. I don't hate it. It's not like WandaVision was hard, because when they got to that third episode and they were still stuck in fucking sitcom land, I was like, I'm never going to watch this fucking thing again. There's nothing happening on this show other than fucking member berries, man. Hey, remember when we went from black and white to color? Remember that? Like, oh my God, all these devices are so fucking lame. And then I don't know why, but I started thinking about like Quentin Tarantino movies when I was watching Hawkeye, and I started thinking about how when the characters have a monologue or something, how interesting it is. When you think about Pulp Fiction, when Christopher Walken shows up for one fucking scene and he just talks about that uncomfortable hunk of metal up his ass and how you're just like hanging on his every word. Yeah. And it's not to set him up as some character. He just has the one scene and it's fucking phenomenal. And that's what writing needs to be. It needs to come out of left field, surprise you. And then, or like when John Travolta gets killed, you're just like, whoa, I did not see that coming, right? That was surprising. You're like, you did not expect that character to get killed. Yeah. And then they have the audacity. He's still in the finale of the movie because it's told out of order. But like, I like that kind of storytelling. And don't get me wrong, Quentin Tarantino can get overly self-indulgent. Like there's some Jackie Brown parts that were a little long in the tooth with the monologuing, and same with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But
he does have some memorable scenes like that.
Yes.
One, like that one. What's the Nazi one? Inglourious Bastards. That opening scene. Holy shit.
Oh, how intense is that?
Fucking intense, man.
And you never see that other guy again. Now, he's not the one talking, but the point is, like, he does a great job of using dialogue to establish characters. And they're not doing that anymore. They're just doing fucking member berries. They're just like, yeah, remember this, remember that. No. Write a character. Write a person with a personality.
I thought the writing was great in WandaVision.
What? When?
Dude, everything at the end with him and her, between him and her, was great.
I don't even remember it. Oh, the overextended "I love you so much" as she talks to a figment of her imagination. Yeah, that was great.
All he remembers is witches floating in the air, and that's just why he hates witches.
Yeah, he remembers.
I can't hear you, Rob. You're in a different zip code than your microphone at this point.
How's that?
Thank you.
He was talking about the witch battle scene you didn't like.
Oh my God. I hate that shit too. I forgot about that. So bad. So boring. Yeah. I tried to watch Harry Potter again. I keep trying. This week I put on Harry Potter.
You don't like it? Why?
Because I want to like it. Because I want to enjoy things. And unlike you, I'm willing to look at myself and think, hey, maybe my opinion about this was wrong. Maybe I should revisit it. But it turns out I was still right. But I tried again, though. I gave it a fair shot.
When have you ever come to a decision where you were wrong?
What did I revisit that I really liked?
Fast and the Furious?
I've never seen one, so I can't say that. But I didn't like Deadpool 2 the first time I saw it. Did not like it. Did not like Deadpool 2 the first time I saw it.
Dude, Fast and the Furious is just... It's not supposed to be good. Like, dude, they had fucking Tyrese and Ludacris in space in this last one in a Ford Fiero with a rocket strapped to the car. Like, that's not supposed to be.
You're just making shit up.
No, this is a movie. This is a movie. It's not supposed to be good. Dude, I think one line was like, dude, look at us, two guys from the ghetto in space or something like that. And
you are making this shit up.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
So
like,
I'm
it's
supposed
great.
to
It's so
excuse
bad.
that?
No, it's so bad. It's good. It's like Twilight. Dude, it's great shit.
I think Twilight's better already. I know Twilight's better than Fast and Furious.
Well,
I actually got some real genuine laughs out of Twilight.
Oh my God. And that shit, when they talk about family on the internet, they're not that. They actually do say that family shit all the time in those movies. All the time. family.
There's nothing in that series that appeals to me. I don't like cars. Yeah. I don't like car chases. Yeah. I don't like poorly written dialogue.
Yeah, and it always ends the same too. They're like at a picnic table at their house, cracking open a
Corona.
You are
making this shit up.
I'm not, dude. You gotta watch it. They're fucking great, dude. It's one of the
number one franchise.
It's one of the greatest series ever, man. You gotta watch it. It's so good.
I can't.
I'm just thinking about it now and I'm laughing. It's so fucking great.
It will just make me angry the amount of money they spent on this stuff.
I started watching DC's animated series Young Justice. That's what I'm watching.
Yeah,
it's good. Steve, you haven't watched any of this stuff. The DC animation is great.
Yeah, we talk about this every podcast.
Yeah, I know.
I'll get to it.
I was like, we need to watch something, and so we put that on because I think there's a 4th season, but I went ahead and started with season 1 because I was like, I know I've watched this, but evidently, when you go to HBO Max, it says Young Justice something else. But
all right, so who's in the Young Justice? Is it just Batman younger, or how does that work?
Batman's in it. He's voiced by Bruce Greenwood.
But is he a young kid? Is he a young Batman?
No. Oh. Batman. The Justice League is in there, kind of like, but it's just the main characters: Aqualad, Superboy, Robin. Who else? Miss Martian.
Miss Martian. What's her power?
That's like
Martian Manhunter.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And who else? Zatara. She's not a main character. Zantana. What's
Satana?
Carlos Santana's in it.
Oh, and Artemis. And
Artemis Fowl.
It's good. You should watch it.
That sounds horrible. I don't ever want to watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'll check it out. We'll see what happens.
No, you won't.
I'll check it out.
It took you guys 3 years to watch What We Do in the Shadow. I guess
not true. I'd seen the first episode years ago.
I guess my opinion doesn't matter to you guys. It's like,
not true. That's why I came back and watched it, bro. You're not the only one. John, who I used to do the other podcast with, he was always telling me to watch it too.
Yeah.
And I did watch it, and I think when I watched it the first time, and like I said, I think I only watched the first episode. I don't think sometimes I just got to be in the right mindset to watch a certain thing. Like, I'm not always in the mood to watch Ghostbusters. I'm not always in the mood to watch John Wick. I want to watch, maybe I wasn't in the mood to watch comedies. Maybe I wanted to watch realistic action movies. Maybe I want to watch comic book movies or whatever. Wherever my head was at, it wasn't in the right place at that time.
Right.
That's why I know there's other good stuff out there. Like Rob, you told me about Legion. I've never watched that still.
Yeah.
What's the DC one on HBO Max about Robin and
what, Titans?
That one wasn't too bad.
No.
That looked horrible. I didn't see that. Horrible. I didn't watch it because the trailer looked
I watch it. I've watched all the episodes, and it's horrible.
Okay, good to know.
I just want you to know. I watch it because I like the characters, but...
I thought that girl was pretty creepy.
It got worse.
I thought that girl was pretty creepy with the...
Season 3
she was like satanic or something, or she had a devil in her or something. You know me, I like those.
You talking about
Titans?
Yeah. What's her name?
I don't know.
Oh God.
Well, anyway, show. I remember when the trailer came out for it initially. I was like, "Wow, it literally looked like the quality of a YouTuber, basically." And all it was like Robin and people saying "fuck" over and over. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. This looks really good." It's just a bunch of the Teen Titans going "fuck you, Batman." And I'm supposed, whoa, Robin totally said "fuck you, Batman." I'm all in. Like asinine. I'm not 9 years old. That's not impressive. I need better writing than just adding the word "fuck" to things.
I didn't.
Fuck is a crutch. I say fuck because I can't think of something else to say. That's all it is. So when you throw it in there as writing, you better have a damn good reason, and you better have Samuel L. Jackson saying it, because otherwise it almost doesn't matter.
How many seasons was that, Titans?
3.
Now,
I think
I got 4 or 5 episodes in.
I started watching Doom Patrol, and I liked that, but I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't like heavy into it, so I never finished it. But I did like it though.
I tried to watch it, and I just couldn't finish it.
I enjoyed that one.
I like the Misfits characters, the Misfit type characters.
Yeah, they actually said that's better than Titans.
I guarantee it is.
It is. Yeah.
I guarantee it is, just from not having seen Titans, but seeing
I didn't think
trailer
Titans
for
could
Titans.
get any worse, but the third season, I totally did not enjoy.
I almost was going to start watching Titans because I saw Red Hood was going to be on it, and then I saw the Red Hood mask, and I was like, "That's the worst Red Hood mask I've ever seen. I will not watch this."
It's got.
I want to read Red Hood. I don't know what this is.
The third season's got Red Hood and Scarecrow, and it's a debacle.
What else did I get into recently? You want to talk about Moon Knight? You want to get to the comics?
Yeah, let's do it.
First, let's do a poll. Rob, did you read Moon Knight?
Fuck you, yes.
All right, question 2 for Rob. Did you read the right Moon Knight series?
That I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that.
I realized the other day, I never sent him the link. So
I read 2006 Moon Knight.
Yes,
six
right.
episodes, because that's what you told me to read.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it. I don't know that much. I don't really know anything about Moon Knight.
I've heard you guys... this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one I read.
All right, let's give a little backstory on Moon Knight for the listener here. Who is Moon Knight? What is Moon Knight? Moon Knight is a Marvel character. He's an anti-hero. He's very much in the mold of Batman, I would say. He's a vigilante. He likes to punch people and hurt them. He's got a cape. He wears all white. That's pretty much, and he gets his powers from Khonshu, the god of the moon, the Egyptian moon god or whatever he is. And he sometimes has powers, sometimes he doesn't. That's all I really knew about Moon Knight. I always thought he looked cool. I had read some comics here and there back in the day. But we went with the 2006 series by David Finch and Charlie Huston, if I'm saying that right. And it's kind of like I don't know if it's a reboot, but we read issues 1 through 6, and they clearly pick up from apparently something really bad happened to Moon Knight the last time they'd seen him, and his legs are all fucking broken and gnarly. But yeah, that's the Moon Knight. That's my version of a Moon Knight summary. Do you want to add to it, Steve?
Yeah, I read the first series. I read his first appearance, which is Werewolf by Night. I forget what issue.
That was like in the 70s, right?
70s, yeah. And then I read the next issue of Werewolf by Night just to see what happened there. And then I read the whole first run in the 80s. I think it was like 37 issues or something. And,
did he have powers in that?
No. You never know whether or not Khonshu gave him powers or if it's just all in his fucking head. And it kind of went along with that in this series. This one was more supernatural. I think they're saying that he actually is getting powers from the moon god.
See, after reading all 6, I'm still debating on if he's just fucking nuts or if he's actually getting those powers.
They leave it open, but they lean towards supernatural.
But he's not doing anything that, special. You know what I mean? It's just...
Besides staying alive?
It's like that and brute force, It's just... Or, he's throwing stuff. He's obviously got some skills as a mercenary. But,
yeah.
I just... I think everybody thinks he's batshit crazy.
Well, that's the thing too. See, when I was reading
that's copyright infringement would be moon shit crazy.
It is Marvel's Batman for sure. That's definitely right. When I was reading this, I was curious as to Sean knows a little bit more about it, but Rob, when you were reading, they kept referring to him as with different names, and I'm like, Rob is probably so lost right now.
No, I wasn't lost. I just figured that that he during the comic he probably had different names. That's all I thought. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, he has a dissociative disorder and he has multiple personalities.
He's got
he has a rich billionaire playboy, he has an everyman, and what's the other one?
He's got the rich playboy Stephen Grant, and then originally he was a mercenary. That's Mark Spector. Okay. And then he's also a cabbie, like the local man. That's Jake Lockley.
They showed that in this comic. They showed him being a rich guy, and then they showed Like Mark Spector, obviously, is a mercenary. I don't remember the second one, but I just figured those were like aliases or something.
Kind of.
Or they were previous comics. Because we didn't start off,
they were in the series I read, the 80s one. They were aliases. Like, I didn't think he was going crazy until maybe the very end. The last couple issues, they start to touch on maybe he's losing his mind. But I always thought it was just so he could different people, he could get access to different information. But yeah, did you guys like it? What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought the artwork was fantastic.
Again, this one
it wasn't goddamn squiggle vision, and I could actually read it.
This one, it was brutal. This is much more brutal than the first series I read. And he's becoming my favorite superhero. Like I think he's past the Flash. Like, this dude, I fucking love this guy. No, really? Dude, with the way when he's explaining in the beginning, like he does mention Hawkeye. He says like Hawkeye was making fun of him. He's like, "Hey, you're a crime fighter at night and you wear all white." And he explains something like, "Yeah, I want him to see me coming." He's like, because no matter what they do, they're shaking in their pants. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn or something like that. He's like, I'm put the fear in them. And he's Khonshu's avatar, so he's the god of justice or something or vengeance, I mean. So he's basically just putting vengeance on everyone for Khonshu.
What I like about him versus Batman is like he's all about just taking hits. Like he doesn't dodge.
Yeah,
he wants to scare people by taking what they can dish out. And that fight with Taskmaster was fucking pretty sweet.
Yeah. Remember, Taskmaster was like, "You're the one person I wish I wouldn't have memorized your moves, because it's like the dumbest fight style ever." Right. He's like, "I wish I could unlearn your moves," because he doesn't have any. He just lets people fucking go at him.
Yeah, he's insane. He's like a more realistic Bruce Wayne in that, like, he almost like knows he's crazy, whereas Bruce Wayne's like, no, this is normal behavior. This makes perfect sense. I really enjoyed it. This is like the first full Moon Knight story that I actually read. This first 6 issues of. I read a little bit past it too, and I love that David Finch's art style. Steve, have you read the newest series? I haven't read the newest series.
I have it on my pull list. I haven't started yet because I haven't got issue 1 yet.
Oh, okay.
That's not available.
I was just curious if it was how this Moon Knight, because I've seen different versions too. I've seen where he wears like a white, like 3-piece suit. Have you seen that version of him where he's not dressed like a superhero? It's all white, but it's like a 3-piece dress suit.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of it. Yeah,
but I don't like that. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's not why I'm here.
I love his suit the way it is, man. Yes, he looks fucking badass.
So prepare to be disappointed when the series comes out and there's no blood, there's no violence.
It's a guy in a white suit.
Yeah.
Is there a series coming out?
Yeah. You didn't see the trailer?
No.
God damn, Rob.
Jason, what's that guy? Oscar Isaacs? Is that his name? Oscar Isaac?
Oh, from Star Wars.
He's playing Mark Spector.
Oh, wow.
He's Moon Knight. There was rumors before that it might have been Keanu Reeves, which would have just given me a boner, dude.
Yeah.
Because I think he would have been perfect. But I'll take this guy. I like Oscar Isaac.
I do too.
He played Apocalypse too in the X-Men movie, so this is not his first.
I did not know that.
Throwdown. Yeah.
I can see his eyes now.
That was a terrible version of Apocalypse, by the way. Not his fault. It was. No. I blame the art department and the writers for that one. Did not look good. But anyway.
Yeah, this dude he looks menacing.
I really enjoyed this. It was. I thought the story got a little bit confusing. There were times where I was kind of like, "Who is this?" But the artwork was absolutely phenomenal. It was fucking brutally violent.
He just took people's faces off.
Let's cut that guy's face off.
Well, that was the mercenary. They were friends at one point, and they used to do jobs in like North Africa or something like that. And then they ended up killing his girlfriend's father, and Mark disagreed, and Raoul Bushman obviously was for it, and they separated there. And that was him killing Raoul in that one scene, ripping his face off after he had fallen off the balcony and broke his legs and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but I liked this whole committee thing. I liked the way the what was the guy's name? The predictor guy,
the profiler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The way he was explaining everything to that chick, and it was kind of funny because it's kind of making fun of comic book tropes, but at the same time, like it worked in the story though.
So you had never heard of that guy? I didn't know if he was a character or something.
I am not familiar with Profiler.
When they first showed him, they showed all that writing on the wall.
Yeah.
In the background. I was like, I'm trying to read it, and I was like, am I missing something here? And then you figure out, okay, he's a profiler. That's him looking and dissecting everything. I thought that was a nice take. I mean, the first panel I saw it, I was like, what the hell? And then it was at sometimes it was hard to follow, but it wasn't hard where eventually you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean?
Well, like when Bushman was taking the place of Khonshu, I was getting confused until I realized, like, oh, this is all in his head.
Yeah.
That
was just Khonshu being portraying Bushman.
Right. But yeah, overall, I thought it was solid. I'd give it 3 stars. I love the Moon Knight suit. I love the artwork. I thought it was a good setup for a story. I might actually finish this run. I think it's only like 30 issues. And I am curious to see where the character goes, and also to see how poorly it's adapted on on Disney Plus.
I thought, man, the writing was great in this comic.
So Disney they've been putting their like crazy Marvel shit over on Hulu, right? MODOK, Hitmonkey, that stuff's on Hulu. The fact that this is on Disney Plus, I'm already sad. Like, because we're not going to get that. Because to me, that was, and again, I don't know much else about the character, but a lot of what I enjoyed was how brutally violent the character was. And I just don't feel like they're going to do that on Disney Plus. So if they were announcing it for Hulu.
Yeah, because they can't do a rated R.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Right. And if it was launching for Hulu, I'd be a lot more excited. But now after seeing this.
How do you do this guy in a PG?
Well, you don't do that comic run in a PG.
Oh, okay.
you can do the original one I read.
Okay. All right.
But this one was super brutal, man. That's why I like this one a lot. And the writing was tip top too in this comic series too. So
that was a big hook for me, was how violent it was. I was immediately like, oh, let me get some popcorn. I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
3 stars for me. What do you guys give it?
I'll give it 3.5. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
All right.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 for me too. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to finish this one for sure.
Okay.
I won't, because I don't want to ruin the movie.
Well, you don't know what storyline they're gonna follow.
If they pick this storyline and PG this shit, I swear to fucking God.
So do you guys think there is actually a god that he's taking, or do you think he's just batshit crazy?
I think in this, just looking at this storyline, not factoring in what I've read of bits and pieces about other storylines, I think it's just part of one of his personalities almost.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I think I would like that better if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just him.
How cool was his crescent-shaped ship and everything? Like,
yeah, and there's like all the models of his ship. You're like, that can't fly. Like there's no way that flies. I've seen like at least 4 different models of the crescent moon shape, and every one of them is like, that's not going to work. That is not going to hold. Dude, in the air.
I love how he just like, he didn't try to he just like rammed the ship into the building. It's like, it's just like, there's no other way. It's just,
And he's a battering ram. Like you have Spider-Man with his acrobatics.
It's great stuff. Because it goes with his personality. You know what I mean? He's taking the credit.
He's a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And in this series, they turned Frenchie. He was that oui, s'il vous plaît, whatever.
Yeah, he ended up being
in
gay.
The original. Yeah, now he's gay in this one. But yeah. Oh, they introduced Crawley. Did you guys see Crawley?
Yeah.
Yes.
They had flies all around him.
Yes.
Like when I first started reading this series in the 80s run, it was like every panel he had flies around him, because he was like a homeless guy, and he would inform Moon Knight, about.
Is that all he does?
Basically he's just like his eyes on the street.
I didn't know if it was because he was homeless or if like it's part of like some latent super ability.
He always hung out at this diner called Gina's Diner, and that's where Jake Lockley, the cabbie, would always come after his shift, and he would get info, and Gina would cook him some food or whatever. But he always had flies around him. I was like, do we need to draw the flies around him? I was like, surely they won't do this in the new comic. And there's the flies. It just flies around the guy. It's like, dude, fucking take a shower or something. I mean, yeah, there's a storyline about Crawley, and he like loses his son, and it's basically like his fault. It's kind of fucked up in the original one. But yeah, did you like his Bat Cave or his Moon Cave or whatever?
Yeah, that was very Batman-esque.
Yeah.
No denying that.
Yeah. But
it's a mansion. So.
Yeah, that's Stephen Grant's mansion. But yeah, I really love this character, man. I think he's terrifying, and I really
better than the Flash. Wow, that's a bold statement.
Well, I haven't read a Flash story this good yet. Like, if I could get a Flash, I've been reading.
One doesn't exist, I'm guessing.
I know. I'm starting to think that. Like, I loved Flash as a child, so I'm like, surely, what out of all these comic runs, there has to be a good storyline somewhere. Flashpoint was all right, but it wasn't like the level of writing in this last comic we read was way better than anything I've ever read.
Watch the DC animation.
Okay,
it's based on the comic though.
Yeah, the Flash is really good.
Well, but yeah, he's starting to creep up there in my hierarchy of characters, in my opinion.
That's interesting.
Glad you picked it, Rob. Good job. Let's have you pick every week instead of Sean.
I picked the Moon Knight story that we read. All right, like let's give credit where credit's due. Rob picked the character, but I picked the story.
That's true.
Actually, I had read that back. I have the first issue of that, like in my comic collection because I bought it when it came out. So that's why I remembered it. Is like I bought it just because of the cover. I was like, oh, this looks fucking cool.
Yeah, he wore those like knuckles, those iron knuckles, but they had spikes on them. I was like, oh, I didn't see that in the original run. That was nice. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Trying to see where my dog is.
Oh, okay.
Give you a big crotch shot here.
You just want to show people your T-shirt?
No, I'm trying to see where Crawley went. But
yeah, they're so gonna fuck up this Moon Knight. You gotta. I mean, once you see him be so brutal like that, it's like that's how you gotta go, right?
Right.
You can't.
That's what I think.
You can't shy away from that.
That's my introduction to the character. So yeah, that's gonna be what I want from the character from now on. And I have no idea. For all I know, that this was an anomaly, and he's never been like that. I don't know, but. I liked this version of it.
The first episode, it'll be like Kate Bishop. Like, hey guys,
it's gonna follow around the French guy the whole time. But yeah, that was an enjoyable little series, and I think all the violence. And I was enjoying it so much. That's what actually sent me down like another Punisher rabbit hole, which, I tend to go down here and there. But it was like, who else is violent? The Punisher. You know what we should do? We should read some Punisher stuff. So this will be our third Punisher or maybe our second. I don't remember if we've done it more than once or not. This will be our third one.
Second.
Rob says third.
I thought we did another one. Maybe not.
Which ones do you remember? I know we did the human trafficking ring story.
Yeah, I remember.
That's the only one I remember.
That might be it.
All right. Well, this will be a little different because this will be Garth Ennis's very first Punisher story, I believe. And it's not in an R-rated universe. It's in the regular Marvel universe. It came out in like 99, 2000-ish, I think 99. And he kind of like rebooted the character. So the Punisher was a very popular character in the 80s up to the early 90s, up to the big crash of Marvel comics or of comics in general. And like, so he had like 3 or 4 ongoing series simultaneously. And then they canceled them all in like 1995 because they weren't selling, because that's way too much Punisher. You don't need 3 or 4 goddamn Punisher series. It's too much. So they canceled it. They revived the character a couple times. And then right before this storyline, I remember they did a story where Frank Castle was killed. He goes to heaven and he becomes like the Punisher for God. And he's like an angel. He's got some weird little symbol burned into his forehead. And his eyes are like on fire or something. And nobody liked that. That was dumb. So they put the kibosh on that. And then Garth Ennis, who I was very excited whenever I read Garth Ennis, I remember reading, I was like, ooh, I'm back on board with the Punisher because I had read Preacher. And that was my introduction to Garth Ennis, was Preacher.
I was going to say, that sounds like Preacher.
And so they were like, Garth Ennis is going to be writing the Punisher. Hang on, I got to see where my dog's going. What are you doing? Go lay down. And so this came out like 99. So it's a 12-issue series. Rob, don't start crying yet. It goes really fast, and we have 2 whole weeks, and something wrong with your hand. And but yeah, so.
Rob always does visual gags. We can't hear that.
It's only
can't hear your little finger
because it was only supposed to be meant for you too.
It was special, Steve. You ruined it.
My bad.
But yeah, it's a 12-issue series. It's just called The Punisher. Actually, I think the storyline is called like Welcome Back, Frank. But so when you go into Marvel Unlimited or wherever, it's 12 issues long. That's the whole run. There's no more issues after. He does come back and do a follow-up that's like 37 issues. He did a whole run after that, but we're not going to read that. We're just going to read the 12-issue Welcome Back, Frank. But you have to remember, unlike the Max series that we've read previously, this is in the Marvel universe. So there's no F words. The violence is more implied. And you're going to see some Marvel heroes in it as well.
Okay, so 1999, Welcome Back, Frank, Punisher.
So yeah, and it might not be called, I don't know if it's actually called Welcome Back, Frank in the app, but that's how they kind of, when they repackage the story for trade paperbacks.
1999, 1 through 12.
Yeah, and that's all there are, 12. If you find something that has more than 12 issues or less than 12 issues, you're reading the wrong thing. So, because there's only 12 issues in this series. So, Garth Ennis on story, Steve Dillon on pencils.
What else has Garth Ennis done besides Preacher?
Preacher, Punisher. He had a character called Hitman that was in the DC universe.
That's not the video games Hitman?
No, this is like he had like powers. He
or the movie.
I think he had like psychic powers maybe, or psionic powers.
Yeah.
But Garth Ennis actually, like, he hates superheroes. So like I remember when I was reading Hitman when it came out, like Batman shows up and like I think he gets in a fight with Hitman and Batman basically wins, but then Hitman vomits all over Batman's boots. Because he just
isn't he the guy that did The Boys?
He did The Boys, yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he definitely hates superheroes.
He did a series called Crossed that I might make us read one day, just for the sheer shock value of it, just to see if Rob quits the show or not after reading this comic book.
I take it there's a lot of blasphemy in that one.
It's not really blasphemy. It's one of the most. It's probably the most violent comic book I've ever read in my life.
Oh, okay.
I think, pretty sure. But yeah, he did a ton of Punisher stuff though. Like I said, he did this 12-issue run. He basically is the Frank Miller, like what Frank Miller is to Batman or was to Batman is what Garth Ennis. He took the Punisher and just totally elevated this character the same way Frank Miller did with like the Dark Knight, and with Batman Year One with the origin story. This guy did, and I think you read it. I'm not sure. Punisher Born. That was written by Garth Ennis as like a definitive origin for the Punisher. It's like a 4-issue series. Yeah, he has literally written the definitive book on the character, in my opinion. And he has a lot of stuff out there. I think he did 65 issues of the Max series. So that's like a little over 5 years right there.
So if we get Vincent D'Onofrio in the MCU now. Are you excited to maybe see the Punisher? What's the guy that plays him?
What is that guy? John Bernthal?
Yeah. Would you be excited to see him in the MCU or?
No, but
just because Disney owns it now.
Well, if he's in the MCU, it's not going to be the Punisher. But second reason is actually I really like. There's no ongoing Marvel. There's no Punisher series right now, thanks to. And Rob, this is where Rob will love to step up and talk. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about the way these stupid, traitorous, fucking Republican, treasonous fuckheads have ruined the Punisher. We can't have Punisher stuff anymore, thanks to these motherfuckers. Like I have a Punisher tattoo that I've had for years now.
What are you talking about? It's selling like hotcakes now.
But now I have to worry about being associated with these motherfuckers. And they've taken this symbol. And like I said, the dude is a monster. He's psychotic. And nobody that writes this character is portraying him as a hero, in my opinion. So the fact that you have law enforcement, that you have these people that claim to be patriots wearing this symbol is so off-putting and horrifying. And again, Marvel, like I said, I don't think they're doing anything with the Punisher because this is the worst thing Trump has ever done. He ruined the Punisher. Thanks, Trump. Like, this is all your fault. Like, I follow an Instagram account called it's called like Punisher Logo or something, and it's just people just send in pictures of completely misused Punisher skulls, and it's the most depressing thing. I don't know why I follow it, but it's just like, you know, these people with they literally, like, one guy had like carved a chair, like the back of the chair was the Punisher skull, and then it said something about God, guns, and country or whatever the fuck, and I'm just like, oh, like, it's so bad. Like, the misinterpretation of this character, thanks to Trump and his fucking idiot fucking, oh god damn, it makes me so angry, dude. Like, there's no Punisher, it's just gone. Like, Punisher just dead now.
Every time you look at one of your favorite symbols, you can't help.
And I can't help but associate it. Now, I was watching that 4 hours at the Capitol or whatever it was called documentary.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And there's a couple people there in Captain America stuff, but I don't see people pushing that symbol. Like, which one are they out there with? The goddamn Punisher symbol. And it's just, and I know that goes back to that one guy from in real life, whatever, the sniper dude from the Sniper movie, that got killed. I guess he was
Chris something.
Yeah. I guess he used to wear like a Punisher symbol, and it was just like
Chris Kyle, is that his name?
Yeah, I think that was it. So I think it started there and it kind of spread from there. And then, and again, you see it on police cars and you're like, incorrect. Like, you're supposed to be about, Punisher is not about justice. He's a serial killer. He's like Dexter. He kills certain people, but he's not somebody you look up to. He's somebody you enjoy reading about. But you don't like put that on your squad car or your fucking uniform. I think Tucker Carlson or somebody like that had like a lapel pin of it. And I'm just like, I'll come through this fucking TV screen. It's just ruined something I've loved since literally the 80s, dude. Since the 80s. Like, I've loved this character that long, and now somehow it's been twisted, and it's going to end up, just the same way the swastika used to not be a bad symbol until they fucking co-opted it. You know what I mean? And now forever, the swastika's bad, but it didn't used to be. It really didn't. It was. I forget what it was. It was taken from like Indian culture or something. I don't remember. But it wasn't a bad thing, and now it's forever a bad thing. Like, you will never get that iconology back. And I'm worried the same thing's going to happen to the Punisher skull, because, and like, I haven't worn a Punisher t-shirt in forever because I'm like, I don't want to be affiliated with these stupid motherfuckers. And like, I just like the comic book and the character. I don't like the people who tried to overthrow the government.
He just wears it around his house.
Right. That's the only place I can wear it.
Maggie's like, can you please take off the Punisher shirt?
Dude, I feel like if I go out and somebody, like, if I wear like a band t-shirt, if I wear a Pantera shirt or a Revocation shirt, whatever, and somebody's like, oh, cool shirt. And I'm like, thanks. If somebody says cool shirt to me and I'm wearing a Punisher shirt, I'm not going to know how to take it. Like, I'm going to be like, oh no, I don't know what that means. Like, do they think I'm part of the nationalist fucking Trump movement, or do they actually like the fucking character? It's such a shame. Such a fucking shame. I hope they do that with your Flash symbol.
I was just going to say that. I was thinking that. I swear to God, I was like, thank God Trump didn't fuck up my Flash symbol. Because I got so many shirts and so much shit around this room I'm looking at right now. I'm like, don't fucking take my Flash symbol.
Dude, it's like that meme I sent you guys the other day, though. 3 of the Supreme Court justices were appointed by a man who tried to overthrow the U.S. government, and we're just okay with that. We're just like, yeah, that's fine.
Abortion is gone, man.
Yeah, and they're going to get rid of.
I listened to. I read about the first day the other day, and like Amy Coney Barrett is like, well, there's adoption. Adoption has got nothing to do with this. I mean, it's incredible how. Oh man,
I hate this too because like, and this is something I was telling Maggie the other day about.
Gut it. They're gonna gut it, man.
Well, people say that you shouldn't have abortion. God wants you to have that baby, right? Or something along those lines. Like if you get pregnant, that's how it should be. So why do all these barren motherfuckers? Why are they getting fertility fucking treatments and shit? God clearly didn't want you to have children, so stop it. Don't do that. It's not, you know what I mean? You don't get to do that. You don't get to get fertility treatment. If somebody can't get abortions, then you can't get fertility treatments.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Tit for tat, motherfucker.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. In Mississippi, there's like, well, it doesn't affect, poverty or anything. They want all these women and, it doesn't affect the man. These women got to carry the turn. Are you going to force the man to freaking, pay for the pregnancy? No.
And they will argue against. I saw a Facebook argument against that. Somebody said that, like, well, maybe if the man was, 50% responsible for the kid, and people started, well, it was literally, and I remember it was a woman. It was a fucking woman, now that I remember it. And she was like, and clearly some Christian lady. She's like, well, no, she shouldn't have been out there like whoring it up or whatever. Like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
What? Whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like how are you going to put 100% of the, that's such bullshit. Yeah. And then not even to factor in fucking rape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And incest and all this other stuff.
No matter what, you can't, it doesn't matter about any of that for these laws they're writing, man.
Right.
Like,
how is that?
You, man.
That's such bullshit, dude.
I saw that meme about meme about Kavanaugh, and they're like, this guy is in charge of abortion, and he was too drunk to remember who he sexually molested.
Right.
That's who's in charge of, determining.
It's just we're going back to, and that's like religion. It's all about controlling the woman.
All about religion. Religion is our biggest problem.
Yeah.
I've been saying this forever.
A lot of this generation is okay with men. Like, it's like, what the fuck? These women have like suffered for 100 years trying to get rights for women. And now we're just going to go backwards, dude, like, man.
Maggie was telling me.
Women wrote until like 84 and like.
Yeah. West Virginia. West Virginia.
1984. I was still alive.
Yeah, it was West Virginia.
I was born. I was
women
12.
Couldn't get credit cards till like the 80s or something. Maybe it was the 70s, but it's like 70s or 80s. You couldn't, like, a woman couldn't get a bank account or a credit card in her name. And somebody drew a parallel between that, because people talk about like a high divorce rate or whatever. And they're like, well, maybe it was because women couldn't fucking do shit on their own for the longest time. So they just stayed married. And then when they finally got some basic human rights.
The party that wants to get rid of abortion was also animate about not having paid family leave. It's insane. It's just insane. They're so contradictory all the time. It makes me so angry. Because what's the point of getting rid of abortion? Like, who does that benefit? I don't understand the whole issue with like that's being determined in the Supreme Court. It's like, how is it? How does a woman in Mississippi going to have the same rights as a woman in California? That alone should be enough to overturn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or because people with money are always going to have an abortion. You know what I mean? That's not going to change. But you're putting an undue burden on a poor female in Mississippi. They don't have the same rights as if she would lived in California. I mean, that enough should like strike that down, you know?
They're like, let the state decide. And that the last time the state decided, it was like segregation and slavery.
Right.
I was like, good job.
women aren't equal, and they're totally don't have the same rights from one state to another, and that's not how this country.
What kills me about all this too is the fact that these are the same people talking about their freedom. They're not going to force a vaccine on me, but when it comes to women, they're like, no rights for you.
Well, fucking.
It's like, what? If you're going to fight for freedom, you have to fight for fucking freedom. Though. You can't just be like, no, I'm afraid of needles, so I don't want to do that. Like, no, you have to see it all the way through. You can't claim that's your platform and then be like, but not for them, for me.
Right.
Well,
that's how it's been the last 4 years. That's what's been so eye-opening. It's just people just like, it's okay if it's okay for me. Like, we're for freedom, just not everybody's freedom.
Right. Rob, I got a documentary. Both of you guys should watch this. It's on HBO Max. It's called "'Twas the Fight Before Christmas." Watch that.
Right.
It blew my fucking mind. Some dude, and it starts off, you're like, oh, this guy just loves Christmas or whatever. And then by the end, you're like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. But like, it's about this guy who had putting up a crazy Christmas lights display and ends up in a legal battle. And that's all I'm gonna say to frame it.
Yeah.
Because you got to watch it. You just got to watch it from there.
What's it on? What chat?
It's on HBO Max.
HBO, okay.
It's called "'Twas the Fight Before Christmas." It's like I think it's just a movie. I think it's like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I don't think it's like episodes or anything. But yeah, it's about a guy who wants to do a crazy Christmas display. But it's a lot more than that. I'm being very superficial on purpose because you got to discover it as you watch it, and then you're gonna I will say you're going to hate this guy by the end of it, though. You're going to be like, "What is wrong with this motherfucker?" But, and we'll discuss it next episode too, because it's worth discussing. I think
we'll discuss it in 3 years when I fucking take your advice, so I can watch something.
I watched the new Home Alone with the kids, and I was this is horrible. I was like, we got to go watch the first two right now.
Yes. I tried to watch it. Maggie and I started it, and like immediately we bounced off at it for like 15 minutes because we're like, are they seriously trying to make the robbers sympathetic? It's going to ruin. Like, you're supposed to enjoy them getting the shit kicked out of them, but now we're supposed to be like, well, they're just trying to save their house. Why is he torturing them? Like, I mean, so we just bounced off of it. We literally just bounced the fuck off of it.
Well, for the kid thought they were robbers for the most of the movie, so there was that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the whole thing too, is they think he stole this doll. So that's the whole reason they're there. But it's all stupid and bad. We couldn't watch it.
I immediately put in the first one.
Good job. That's
that.
good.
I was like,
haven't watched the second one. The second one is
we watched the second one. We used to watch the second one too.
Dude, the last third of that movie is so insanely violent. I was telling the kids, I was like, if you added blood and gore and changed the soundtrack, this would be horrifying. Like, dude, the amount of damage he does to those guys in the third act of that movie, and they're playing that. Dude, change that music out to fucking horror movie music. Much more appropriate.
That lead pipe where they fall through like 3 stories onto a cement pad.
He throws like 5 bricks down at the dude's head from 3 stories up, and you're like, oh my god, his head would be just. It would. Oh man,
dude! I had so many questions coming my way while the kids were watching it. I was like, we can't really do this. You understand that, right? Like, people will die.
Like, this is a real life cartoon. This isn't. Don't imitate this behavior. Next thing you know, like, Dom's got bricks. He's just like chucking them. He's like, when he got up, he was fine. He just had that little mark on his forehead.
Dude, that crowbar to the chest in the first one still makes me cringe. It makes me hold my chest a little.
Yeah.
You guys been watching any holiday movies?
Yes.
Same
ones I always watch.
Same ones you always watch?
Die Hard.
We watched first Home Alone today. We watched Home Alone 2. Saw the live action Grinch. I try to watch the better ones, my favorites, as they get a little closer to Christmas, so I don't get burnt out on them. Steve, you've got to watch Christmas Story this year, bro.
Can I watch that with the kids? Will the kids like that? Or is it too slow?
But yeah, I have no idea.
I watched it when I was younger.
It's very much acceptable for children.
It looks story driven, so I didn't know if the kids could stick.
It's narrated.
Yeah, I should probably get on that. How old am I? 42. Should probably get on a Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Spoiler, there's a leg lamp.
I have a leg lamp in my house, actually. Well, not a lamp, but it's like a glass that I drink out of.
Steve's like, I got to watch Fast and the Furious 5 more times before I put that in.
Dude, Tyrese in space. Can't beat it.
You could beat that a lot. You could beat that with a nap.
Hey, it's in my Voodoo if you want to watch it.
Okay.
Just in case you're curious.
I'm so ashamed. I own a Fast and Furious movie because it was a freebie. And it's in my Voodoo account.
Which
I own
one?
Number 8.
Oh, you got to start earlier.
But I'm not going to watch. But the fact that I can't get rid of that for my digital account because it just came with like when I linked one of my accounts or something. I'm just like, thanks a lot. They gave me a bunch. They gave me a few other movies too. But it's still, that's why I have Ghostbusters in there, the 2016 one, because of that.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah. They just like,
out of all the movies you wouldn't want, it had to be that one, right? Like, because you love the Ghostbusters so much. So I think that's just so insulting every time you see that.
Yeah. And well, go back to Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll still buy that movie and I will watch it again because if I remove my love of the franchise from the movie, it's not a bad movie. But being a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, it's frustrating because it's like, why couldn't you just do a sequel? Why couldn't you just do a Ghostbusters 3 and have a young, the idea to me is, okay, you want to bring in the older guys, they could just mentor younger guys and it could be funny and they could have funny lines.
Mm-hmm.
They could bust ghosts.
What did you do, Ray?
That's it. Like, yeah, that's all I want. I want like a group of dudes down on their luck, desperate guys, start a fucking new business. And, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson, are there to mentor them. That's all we need, man. And then funny lines, funny physical comedy. That's it. It's really not that big of a deal. I don't know why they went with
How are the ghosts?
Part 2.
How are the ghosts?
I
still have nightmares about that lady in the library.
Oh yeah, there's no scary ghosts at all.
I saw that when I was a kid. That fucking
everything's a rehash. Instead of Slimer, they have Muncher. They have the Terror Dogs, which look way better, obviously, because it's modern technology.
Yeah.
They have Gozer, of course. Which again,
that was member berries. You weren't kidding.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off. I was like, dude, Gozer wasn't the memorable part of that movie. Like, nobody was like, wow, it's like the Darth Vader of the Ghostbusters. Right? Nobody cares about Gozer. We don't need to see Gozer again.
Were they
really couldn't?
Was he sympathetic? Did they? Did you feel bad? They literally just Gozer.
They just remade the whole. It was disappointing, is what it was. It's not a bad movie, but it's very disappointing as a Ghostbusters fan. Also, the fact that like this 10-year-old girl straps on a proton pack with like, I felt like in the original movies they kind of made a big deal of them being like really heavy, and this just 10-year-old girl just straps it on and wears it like it weighs about like 8 ounces. It's a little bit off-putting. It's like, what?
Girls are strong.
So it kind of ignored that portion. Plus, I'm not really into child protagonists.
I'm not either. That's one.
Even as a kid, I wasn't. Like Home Alone's like an exception.
I was gonna say you just talking about Home Alone.
Yeah. But like a lot of stuff. Okay,
but when it comes to that's obviously slapstick shit. But like when it comes to saving the whole town, like some kids.
It's worth a watch, though. Having said all that, you should definitely watch it.
Oh, I'm going to see it. Yeah.
I think Steve will love it because he doesn't care. He's
love it.
Idiot.
Giving up on life.
So, now I envy you in the fact that you're a cinematic idiot. I wish I could be that way, but I would enjoy more stuff. I want to enjoy more stuff. It's not my fault that it's like I try to watch Harry Potter 5, and
like when stuff's really bad, like Wonder Woman, that was just so hard. Like, just make it somewhat watchable,
Right? Like that's just a straight up
Wonder Woman 84.
Movie.
I didn't mind the first Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman
84 is a terrible movie by any metric.
God,
I don't care what anybody
Aquaman,
says.
God, just make the shit somewhat enjoyable. That's all we ask.
Oh, sympathetic villain. 1984.
Yeah, she doesn't, doesn't fight him or anything. It's,
she fights the wind.
Dude, Matrix is coming. Oh god, I'm so fucking pumped. I just ordered a poster. I cheaped out. I bought one from China or something for $15. The other one was like $120. I was like, no. I was like,
wow.
I'm sorry, America. I had to cheap out.
They don't really sell those direct. That's always like a reseller anyway. Like the ones they give to the theaters.
And the one it says only in theaters or only in cinemas. I was like, oh, that's not true. But but it's 14. It was $14.99. Right. So I was like, I need something to fill this poster.
Well, dude,
frame.
like the Captain America poster I have. So I ordered like it wasn't from China, but it was clearly just a reprint.
I don't know where it was from. It was cheap, so I'm assuming it's not close.
Well, it could just be somebody printing it though here. It could be somebody anyway. But I ordered a Captain America poster for like $15-20, and I got it, and I was like, I like unroll it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, this looks terrible. So I spent more money than I should have on a real one because I was like, I guess that's what you get when you reprint the motherfucker. It looked like I printed it on shiny paper. It's like, and I blew it up from like a 768p image or something. And I'm like, guess I'll need to track down the original because this fucking sucks. So this one way, way better. First Avengers poster. Very nice.
Well, I've been waiting for the posters to come out forever, and finally they started releasing.
You'll have to wait till they're out of the theaters. That's when you can really get them. Once it has its theatrical run, then you should start looking for them.
And I will. I wanted something.
Now they're going to be priced. Yeah, now they're going to be priced higher. But like once it starts winding down, they'll go down in price as theaters get rid of them. So.
This Matrix movie looks good. Oh God, I hope it doesn't disappoint.
I'm fucking pumped, dude.
I am too. So I haven't been this excited for a movie in a long time.
Yeah, and I get to watch it at home. I don't have to go out and be with these people.
And I get to watch it at home too with my newly calibrated screen, thanks to Sean.
When does Far From Home come out?
December 17th.
The week before, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I have to go see that in the theater, unfortunately.
Did you get your tickets already?
I did.
I haven't bought any yet.
The kids actually want to go, so I'm very excited that both kids want to go see it. They never want to go to the movies, but they like the Spider-Man. That makes me very happy. I didn't have to beg them to go.
I can't wait to talk about that when Sean's like, well, decisions were made and member berries.
I'm so tired of member berries, dude.
Looks like a lot of them in this movie.
It is, and it's just, and it can be done well. Don't get me wrong. Like it can be, like,
can it?
It can't. There's what would be a movie that I don't know. Like, dude, Mandalorian would be a good example of something that like refers back to stuff, but without it being overload or relying on it really.
Yeah,
just like when you see Salacious Crumb,
or when the Carbonite was one of my favorite member berries.
So, well, see, that's one of the ones that kind of bothered me because I was like, really? This was like experimental technology last time we saw it. Now it's just casual. But anyway, whatever.
It was after the war, though. I mean, it was after.
Yes, but that was like the first time anybody had done it. And you mean to tell me after a few years that you could now just? I mean, I guess it's possible. It's possible. I'll say it's possible.
They're the Empire. Technology, they were head of fucking technology.
But what I mean is, and now you can just do it on your ship. Like this is a whole facility they had just for that.
Hey, remember the first cell phone? I had to fucking. It was giant with the big antenna that came out.
It took quite a long time to get where we are now with those.
Well, it was like 40 years since when does Mandalorian take place?
About 5 years after Jedi.
Oh, that's it?
That's it, buddy.
Well, they do have spaceships, so I'm sure technology is a lot faster.
Again, I never brought it up. It wasn't a huge deal. It didn't, but like there is stuff that does it well where you can refer back to stuff. And, dude, even the Ghostbusters 2016, the one thing they did right, instead of just making the whole movie about Harold Ramis, they just had a little Harold Ramis bust like in the background.
Mm.
Like, I appreciate that. instead of this one where they're like, we fucked up so bad. I can't believe we didn't make a Ghostbusters 3 with Harold Ramis. So we'll just make this whole movie about Harold Ramis. I was like, yeah, that's what Ghostbusters was about. Okay.
Are you going to be all right with Boba Fett on Disney Plus? Are you going to be all right?
I hope so.
Okay.
I
Is
don't
there
know.
anything you've seen that's off-putting so far?
The one thing that they kind of
decisions were made.
The one thing that has my excitement slightly, that dampened my excitement slightly, is the fact that it looks almost like a Godfather type thing as opposed to like an action series. Now, that could be a really good thing. You know, I really like
Watch
Breaking
it. You're
Bad.
Talking to two Italians.
So I don't give a shit. That's all you guys do is fucking talk shit. Anyway,
don't make Rob pound the table.
but now it's that could be a very good thing. Like I said, it could be like Breaking Bad, like, you know, starting a new criminal empire. It could be very, very interesting. I think there's a part of me that just wants to see Boba Fett be a physical badass, but I guess we kind of have the Mandalorian for that. You know, we have like the younger version. So that's like, it's just slightly dampened my excitement. But again, who the fuck knows? They did such a great job with the Mandalorian trailers, where, you know, obscuring what, you know, we didn't know anything about Grogu or anything like that. So
yeah.
like
Now Favreau's on this, right?
I don't know. He might just be a producer. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was a producer. But I know he wrote a lot of the episodes and directed some of them. He had a real hands-on. I don't know how involved he is. But it doesn't look bad by any means, though. You know, I won't say that at all. Like, I think obviously if it is like kind of a Godfather or Breaking Bad thing, it is going to lead to some violence.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. I think we'll have that too.
Godfather was violent.
What I really hope is we get some goddamn flashback, fill in the fucking blank scenes for like the Sarlacc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about Boba Fett is you can put a younger, fitter dude in that suit. It doesn't, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. Like, again, Mandalorian is literally played by 3 different actors.
Oh, hell, they can CGI his face now. We just saw Luke, so
right.
I ain't worry about it.
But he, you know, he always had the helmet on before. But yeah, I think everybody wants to see like the Sarlacc escape and that kind of stuff. But I also hope that it just ties into the Star Wars universe in a impactful way.
Dude, this fucking December is loaded. This is like the best December of my life.
Dude, like the last 2 weeks, it's just insane.
Got Matrix, Spider-Man, fucking Boba Fett. Hawkeye gets to make it home for Christmas. Like, this is great.
That's the most important right there.
Right there.
When's Boba Fett come out?
December
29th.
Good Lord.
I told you. It's fucking 29th. Packed, man.
29th, my friend. Yeah. Good shit.
I'm excited.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
All right, Punisher next week. Sean's favorite symbol.
Punisher 1999. Has been hijacked
by a nationalist, white nationalist.
Yes, fucking idiots. God damn it. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. Just like, oh, what's your favorite character? Yeah, well, yoink. You know what I mean? Like, what a fucking dickheads.
Let's just shit on this for you.
I just
don't worry, he'll be president again.
Like,
I'm sure he'll ruin the Flash. Rob, what's your favorite character?
Probably Captain America.
Oh, they have already shit on that, but not as bad.
It's harder to do because of the red, white, and blue and everything. So it's harder to. That's always going to be associated with the United States. Period.
Wait, they don't have a Captain America symbol with like a blue stripe and black and a blue stripe through it or something yet? They don't have those?
Probably, I don't know. But regardless though, you don't see them identifying with that as much. However, and like this is what I'll get to tell my grandkids, like there was a great character called the Punisher, and then he was co-opted by domestic terrorists. And it's like, he was really, really fun character to read. I have all this contraband because they're going to ban all his stuff. And like, here, read all this. This is what this character was. And somehow they turned him into a fucking domestic terrorist. Well, I guess he kind of is a domestic terrorist in a way, but so it's accurate in that way. But anyway, he would be killing those people is the point. They don't understand.
Sean, don't worry. As the way we're going, you'll be dead and your grandkids will be living in some kind of Mad Max dystopia or something.
Right. I'll have gotten the Zeta fucking version of the virus, which makes your penis fall off.
It's like, please, can somebody just get the vaccine? There's like 7 variants now. Like, can you please just get the vaccine?
Dude, and here's what kills me too. And again, Joe Rogan was telling everybody that, oh, well, variants pop up. The more people get vaccinated, the more likely it is to create variants, which I knew was completely false. But then where do these variants always pop up? In under-vaccinated countries. Areas where they haven't even hit 50% is where these variants come from.
You mean Tennessee? We haven't even hit 50% yet. Like, fully vaccinated. Well, I mean,
South Africa.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. How's that?
Yeah, there you are.
I thought we were done.
We're done. Let's get out of here.
All right. Thanks, Joe Rogan.